All right, let's prove another important property called the Archimedean property, which we will be using frequently to prove many other theorems. So far what we already know is the completeness property of real numbers, that I can call as a supremum property as well as infimum property, which says any non-empty subset of real numbers which is bounded above has a supremum. That is my supremum property. And infimum property is if a non-empty subset of real numbers is bounded below, it will have an infimum. That is a thing we already know. Another observation we can have is the set of all natural numbers is not bounded above, or it will not have an upper bound. We have discussed that. Okay, so let me prove Archimedean property as one theorem and some immediate corollaries. Okay, so for me let me have a theorem. If x belongs to R, then there exists a natural number, say nx in N, such that x is less than nx. Which means if you say any real number, you can always find a natural number such that x is less than that natural number. That is the theorem. So let us go for the proof. Okay. So what I want to prove is, if I have a given x, I should say there is a natural number bigger than that x. Okay. So let us assume that what happens if this is 4. Okay. So let x belongs to R. What I want to prove is there is a natural number which is bigger than x. Okay. Let me go for the contrary part. That is, and assume that n less than or equal to x for every n in n. What I want to prove is there is a natural number bigger than x. For a moment I am assuming that every natural number is smaller than or equal to x. Okay. Now this says that x is an upper bound of natural numbers. Okay. If this happens, this simply means the given real number x is an upper bound of natural numbers. So what happens? By supremum property, n is bounded above. By supremum property, n has a supremum. Say let u is equal to supremum of n. This means x is an upper bound. By supremum property, every bounded above subset has a supremum. So n will have a supremum. Let u be the supremum of n. Okay. If so, what happens? If u is a supremum, then by the earlier work we know u minus 1 cannot be an upper bound of n. Since u is a supremum, u minus 1 is not an upper bound for natural numbers. So by the equivalent conditions of definitions of supremum, what I have? U minus 1 is not an upper bound, which means u minus 1 less than m for some m belongs to n. Since u is a supremum, u minus 1 cannot be an upper bound. That means there is at least one element, say m in n, such that u minus 1 less than n. Now if you add 1 on both sides, what you have is u less than m plus 1. By mathematical definition, we know that if m is a natural number, m plus 1 is also a natural number. So I am getting a contradiction. What? U is the supremum of natural numbers, which means u is an upper bound of natural numbers, which means every natural number is smaller than or equal to u. But what I am getting, m is a natural number, so m plus 1 is also a natural number, and u less than m plus 1. So contradicting that, u is the supremum of natural numbers. So I can say my assumption is wrong. What was my assumption? Every natural number is smaller than or equal to x. That is a false assumption. So what is true? There should exist the negation of this. There should exist at least one n such that x is smaller than or x is less than n. So the dependence on x, I may say there is a natural number, say nx in n such that x is less than nx. So what the theorem is? If you have a given real number, you can always find a natural number bigger than the given real number. We did the proof. in terms of quantity. So we have some immediate corollaries based on this theorem. I can do that. First thing is, let S is equal to set of 1 by n, n in n, then infimum of S is equal to 0. Let's go for the proof. Yeah, recording is happening. So n is a natural number. Suppose n belongs to n. So n is positive. There is no doubt the reciprocal 1 by n is also greater than 0. Okay, which means, okay, 1 by n is greater than 0, and this is true for every natural number. So what I can say is 0 less than 1 by n for all n belongs to n, which means every element of capital S is bigger than 0. That is, 0 is a lower bound of S. There's no doubt S is non-empty and 0 is a lower bound. Again, by our order completeness property or the infimum property, S will have an infimum because it has a lower bound, so S will have an infimum. Let W is equal to infimum of S. Well, W is equal to infimum of S, and there is no doubt 0 less than or equal to W because 0 is a lower bound, and since W is the infimum, any lower bound should be less than or equal to W. Look at the definition of infimum of a circle. Okay. So what I have is, there is a lower bound, and let us assume W be the infimum of S. Okay. Now I will use another theorem here. Okay. Now let epsilon be any arbitrary quantity which is positive, which is greater than 0. Okay. Now by this theorem, since epsilon is a real number, what happens? By this theorem, there exists maybe an n epsilon in n such that 1 by epsilon is less than n. Maybe 1 by epsilon is less than n epsilon. Okay. If epsilon greater than 0, there is no doubt I can have the reciprocal. 1 by epsilon is also a positive quantity. No problem. 1 by epsilon is a real number. And by Archimedean property, I can say there exists a natural number n epsilon such that 1 by epsilon is less than n epsilon. To take the reciprocal one more time, what I am having is 1 by n epsilon is less than epsilon. So what I am having is, there is an n epsilon in n such that 1 by n epsilon is, or 1 by n is less than epsilon. Okay. Now look at here. What is W? W is infimum of S. So this should be bigger than or equal to W. So what I am having, in fact, what I am having, 0 less than or equal to W, that already I have because 0 is a lower bound and W is an infimum of my given set. Okay. Then I started with an arbitrary epsilon greater than 0. I will have a particular n epsilon, satisfying this inequality. But W is the infimum of S, so every n epsilon should be greater than or equal to W. Okay. And from this I have, so what altogether what I am getting is, for every W is the infimum of S existing by infimum property, let it be W, and for every epsilon greater than 0, what happens? 0 less than or equal to W less than epsilon. By our previous theorem, W has to be 0. Okay, what I proved is, for every epsilon greater than 0, 0 less than or equal to W less than epsilon. So by previous theorem, W has to be 0. What was W? W was the infimum of S. So if S is equal to set of 1 by n, n in n, then infimum of S is equal to 0. Another thing is, if T is a positive real number, then there exists a natural number nt in n such that 1 by nt less than T. Okay. So what happens is, since T greater than 0, okay, what happens? T is not a lower bound of set of all 1 by n n. What's the reason? Because we have proved that infimum of s is equal to infimum of set of all 1 by n is 0. So if t is greater than 0, then it cannot be a lower bound of this one, because its greatest lower bound is 0. So 0 ekal valiya oralku it cannot be a lower bound for this. Okay, what's the meaning? T is not a lower bound of this. That means what? There's at least one person in the set which is bigger than your t. That means there exists, say, maybe an nt in n such that 1 by nt is what I want to prove? Yeah, 1 by nt is smaller than t. So 0, t is not a lower bound, which means at least one person in the set which will be smaller than t. So what I wanted is this. So summary: if t is any positive real number, there is a natural number whose reciprocal is smaller than t. So simply apply these theorems together. I have one more theorem, one more corollary. If y greater than 0, there exists an ny in capital N such that ny minus 1 less than or equal to y less than ny. If y is a positive real number, there is a natural number ny such that ny minus 1 less than or equal to y. Maybe ny minus 1. Yeah, ny minus 1 less than or equal to y less than ny. Okay, so let us do the proof. So y greater than 0, you define, say, ey is equal to, I define as that ey is equal to set of all maybe m in n such that what? Y less than m. So let y, given that y is greater than 0, let us assume that ey is equal to those m in n such that y less than m. Now ey not is equal to p. Ey is not nd. What is the reason? This theorem says if you have a real number, you can always find a natural number bigger than that given number. So y is given to you. So by this theorem, there should exist at least one natural number bigger than your y, which means your ey is non-empty. So and elements of ey are natural numbers. So ey is a non-empty subset of natural numbers. So what I have is ey is a non-empty subset of natural numbers. By well-ordering property, ey has a least element. Let us say small m be the, or maybe some say ny be the least element of ey. Let ny be the least element of ey. That such an element exists because of well-ordering property, because ey is a non-empty subset of natural numbers. So which means what? Ny is the least element of ey means ny minus 1. Ny minus 1 is smaller than ny, so it cannot be in ey. Ny minus 1 is not in ey means ny minus 1 cannot be greater than y, which means ny minus 1 is smaller than or equal to y. And since ny is the least element in ey, or ny is in ey, it is less than y. So I am getting that if y is a positive real number, there exists a natural number ny such that ny minus 1 less than or equal to y less than ny. So have one theorem and three few corollaries to that. Sometime I can call any of these corollaries or all these four results together as the Archimedean property. Please go through this. We will be frequently using all these results. For some people, maybe what? For some person, they may take this as the Archimedean property, but they are all well related. They are maybe they are equivalent. If I have one result, I can easily get the other.